Today we'll be discussing the fourth experiment of your Python lab. In the previous labs, we have already discussed the first, the second, and the third program. That is, how do we demonstrate the data types in Python? What are the various data types? How do we declare variables? Then, before that, we also discussed what is the outcome of the lab. How is this particular lab going to help you all in your coming semesters, right? Then we discuss the first experiment, that how do we take, first of all, how do we take input from user, the basic syntax of taking input from user, and how do we do simple calculations like subtracting or taking square root or all basic operations. Again, we discussed what, how do we check whether a given number is even or not, right? So these all basically, the first, the second, and the third program comprised of the basic operations. I hope these three programs are clear to everyone, and you must be ready to learn the new concept of Python, which is a part of the experiment number 4. So, in case in experiment number 4, what we have to do, we have to demonstrate the various kind of lists and tuples, first of all. Second is, how do we use a for loop in case of Python, and how do we use a while loop in case of Python. So before going to the programs, first of all, let us understand what is the meaning, what are the basic syntax of while and for. Since you have already studied C programming, C++ programming in Java, I hope that all of you understand what is the basic difference between for and while. All of you understand that uh, how for executes and how while executes, right? So in case of Python, the basic the syntax of your while loop is while expression and then statements, right? This is the basic simple syntax of your while loop in case of Python. For example, if you consider this particular program, here we have simply initialized the value of count to 0, and then we have checked the value of whether the value of count is less than 5. So this particular loop will iterate till the value of count goes to 5. Once the value of count is 5, it will not execute, so it will execute from 0 to 4 the value of count for 0 to 4, and it will print this particular uh, uh, output 5 times, right? So let us see how does it execute. So let's see how this program will work. So we have simply initialized the value of count to 0, and then we have checked the value of count, iterated the value of count by 1, and then uh, we have tried to display a particular string, which is Jaipur. So when we executed this particular code, we have got Jaipur, which is printed 5 times, because the value of count will go from 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. As soon as the value of count goes to 5, this loop will not execute. Right? I hope that this is clear to everyone. Right. Okay. Now let's consider the usage of else statement with while statement, right? So all of us know that whenever while executes the block, it is executed till that particular condition is satisfied. So whenever that particular condition becomes false, or whenever that particular condition is not satisfied, the statement immediately after the loop is executed. So normally we put else clause whenever we want to get a particular statement executed which is not a part of that particular condition. So the else clause is only executed when your while condition becomes false, right? So whenever you can simply see the syntax while condition, execute these statements. Otherwise, it will go into else part and it will execute these statements, right? So suppose we consider the same program again. So if we initialize the value of count to 0, and whenever the value of count will go greater than 5, then it will print India. Let's see how it does. So it has printed, it has displayed Jaipur 5 times, and then it has displayed India. So as soon as the value of count goes to goes to 5, it will display, it will go into this particular loop and it will display India, right? So I hope this while and while else is clear to everybody. It's a very simple concept. You have already studied this in C and C++ as well in Java, but just go through the syntax which is there in Python, and it is very simple in Python. Now let's look at for in loop. The for loop which you normally call in C, it is for in Python. So for loops are used for sequential traversal. All of us know that. Now, for example, you want to traverse a particular list, or you want to traverse a string or an array. In that case, we will be using for in, right? Now, just what happens here: for iterator, variable in sequence, and then the statement. So there is no styling, there is no C style syntax which is for, then initialization, then condition, then iteration, which was there in C. It is not in Python. It is just the sequential traversal. It is just used for sequential traversal. For example, for iterator, where in sequence, and then the statements. For example, if you see this value, this where is, what is it? It is variable, right? So suppose the value of n is equal to 10, and you want to see for I in range 3 comma 9, print I. So whether, if whenever the value of I is in range this, then it will display the value of I. So let's execute this code again. Let's open Spider. So it has displayed the value of 3 to 10, and value of n is 10. So it has initialization of I is 3, and then it will iterate to the value n, which is 10, right? So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is how your for loop works in case of Python, right? I hope for loop is also clear. Again, you can use else statement with your for loop. Whenever that condition is not satisfied, which is given in the loop, in the for loop, then it will terminate, and the execution will be going to the else block, and it should be immediately executed after the block finishes the execution, right? Just see this. So the value of list is Jaipur Engineering College and Research Center. So whenever the value of I is in this particular range, then it will print these values, and as soon as this condition is dissatisfied, it will simply print Jaipur, right? I hope this is clear, everybody. All of you, please execute this code and see whether you are getting first Jaipur Engineering College and Research Center, because 5 times this condition will be satisfied. After that, it will be printing Jaipur. So first Jaipur Engineering College and Research Center, Jaipur, will be printed, because the length of the list is, see, this particular program, you will it this will be more clear when we will understand the meaning of list. What is the meaning of list, and what is the function length list? As you can simply understand, that list is a sequence of strings or a sequence of integers. So whenever we are using the function length of list, it will just return the value of number of elements in that list. So here in this case, length of list is 5, that is Jaipur Engineering College and Research Center. So value of I will be from 1 to 5. So till 1 to 5 it will print Jaipur Engineering College and Research Center, and then it will print Jaipur. I hope this is clear, all of you. It will be more clear when we'll understand the concept of list. Although it is very simple, just execute this code and see the output, whether you are getting the correct output or not, right? Now we have some nested loops also. Python programming basically allows you to use one loop inside another loop. So following are the syntax of the nested loops. Again, you must have used nested loop concept, but in case of Python programming, the syntax is one this the first statement is the scope of the inner for loop, and the second statement is the scope of the outer for loop. Similarly, in case of while, the inner statement is the scope of the inner while, and the outer statement is the scope of the outer while loop, right? Now, loop control statements basically change execution from its normal sequence, right? Whenever we want to, for example, whenever we are using if else, then it will simply execute in a normal sequence. But whenever we want to change the execution such that it does not follow the normal sequential execution, then we will be using loop control statement, right? So when execution leaves a scope, all automatic objects that were created in that scope are destroyed, right? So Python supports the following control statements. We say that continue statement is one which is used for that particular purpose. Similarly, list is again a loop control statement, which is a simple, as I already told, it is a simple sequence of integers or a sequence of strings or a sequence of characters. So it will simply take certain values, right? So n1 n2 basically are, suppose two values, two numbers. Suppose you have to find the sum of all prime numbers which are lying between n1 and n2. In that case, you will be storing the complete numbers in your list, and then you can check whether and then you can calculate the sum of all prime numbers. So I hope the concepts of for, while and list is clear to all of you, because program number 4 is basically divided into three parts. The first one is for your for statement. Write a program to demonstrate list and tuple first. Second is write a program to demonstrate the for loop, and the third one is to demonstrate the while loop, right? So let's discuss every program individually. So first part is write a program to demonstrate the list and tuple in Python, right? So what we are going to do, we are creating first a list of numbers, and then we'll create the tuple means what? It is a combination of two values, right? All of you understand what is the meaning of tuple. So what we will do, we will take a number from the list, and then we will find the cube root of that we will find the cube of that particular value. So the tuple will be created as the value from list and then cube of that. Again, next tuple will be second value from the list and then cube of that, the third value from the list and then the cube of that, the fourth value from the list and then the cube of that, right? So first of all, how do we create the list? It's very simple. We have created the list by declaring it list 1 is equal to, we will put the values in the square brackets. So once we have created the list, what we are doing, we are calculating the result as we are creating a tuple such that the first element of the tuple is the value which is from the list, and the second value is power of value comma 3. That means it will take the cube of this particular value, right? For value in list 1, so for value in list 1, it will take every value from list 1, and then it will simply print the result. So just let's see whether this code executes or not. Yeah. So, see, it has calculated the cube of 1, it has calculated the cube of 2, which is 8, it has calculated the cube of 5, which is 125, and it has calculated the cube of 6, which is 216, right? So, you have demonstrated the use of list as well as you have demonstrated the use of tuple through this program, right? So, it's very simple. It's very simple. Let's go back to the slide. Right, so the output will be simple: 1 comma 1, 2 comma 8, 5 comma 125, and 6 comma 216. Now the second program is write a program using a for loop that loops over a sequence, right? So we have simply taken this particular for loop, we have taken the nested for loop here, right? So you have to simply print this particular triangle of values, right angle triangle of values. This you must have done in your C programming lab, and you must have done various patterns using the for loop in your C programming lab. Here you have to simply print this particular pattern of values. So we have simply taken the first will be for a row, and then second will be for columns. So whenever the value of 4 is from 1 to 10, so it will move like this, and then the value of j is in range of I, that means it will move like this, right? So first of all, row wise printing will be done by this inner loop, and the second row will be printed by the first row will be printed by the inner loop, it will go to the outer loop. The second row will be printed, it will be executed two times, because the value of I is, because the value of j is 2 now, then the value of I and j goes to 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, right? So it's very simple. Let's see, let's execute this. Let's open spider again. Yeah. See the output. So it is printing the value of 1 to 9. It is printing 1 one time, 2 two times, 3 three times, 4 four times, and till 9 9 times, because the value of I is ranging from 1 to 10, right? So the loop will start from 1, and it will be iterating till the value of I goes to 9. When it goes to 10, it will come out of the loop, right? Yeah. So this was your demonstration of for loop. Similarly, see how while loop works. Here what we have to do, we have to take the input from a user, and we have to print the countdown from that number to 0. For example, if the user has given the value 10, you will have to print 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, right? It's very simple. You have to simply initialize the value of countdown to 10, and then you have to check whether the value of countdown, till you have to print till the value is 0, so it will be greater than equal to 0. Why we have taken equal to? Because we have to print the value till 0, right? So in this, we have just what we have done: whenever the value of countdown goes to 0, it will print start, right? So first of all, it will print the value of countdown, that is 10. It will calculate the value of countdown minus 1 means it is 9, so it will go to the loop again, and then it will print the value of 9. So as soon as the value of countdown goes to 0, it will print start. So this is just a small variation in the code, where we are trying to print another string when the value of countdown goes to 0. Otherwise, if you do not put this particular condition, it will simply print from 10 to 0, right? Let's see. Execute this. So it is printing from 10 to 1, and then it is printing start. right? I hope this is also clear to all of you. Let's stop sharing and then again let's go to the slide. So it is simply giving the output of 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then start. So this was all about your program number 4. I hope the concept of loops, the concept of list, and the concept of tuples is clear to everybody. Now, whenever you are submitting this particular program on your Google Classroom, please do not take the same assignments. Try to do variations in these particular programs so that you can understand what is the sequence and what is how do we use this particular programs. In the next lab, we'll be doing experiment number 5, where we are trying to calculate the sum of all primes which lies below 2 million. We'll start with two values first. We'll take the values of n1 and n2. We will calculate the sum of primes and then we'll go to the 2 million part, right? Similarly, Fibonacci series, all of you understand what is the meaning of Fibonacci series. So we will discuss the fifth B program in the next lab as well. Till that, try to submit experiment number 4, A, B, and C, but please do not use the same code which I explained. Try to do some variation in the code, because for example, list and tuple, I have calculated the cube. You can take any other operation and then you can create your tuple. Similarly, for loop, you can take any other pattern to print that particular to show the demonstration of for loop. While loop, yes, you will have to use the same code, but as I did a variation of whenever the value of count is 0, print start, so you can do some other variation as well, right? In case you face any kind of problem, then we can discuss the same in the next lab, right? Okay, thank you.